Today's topic is matrices. The term matrix was uh, coined by Sylvester in 1850 and it was introduced first by Cayley in 1860. Now, the matrix has many application in engineering and science. Uh, Means the in electrical engineering, the electrical networks, they are represented by matrix. In graph theory, the graphs are represented by matrices. Means the connection between nodes or vertices through edges, they are very perfectly represented by matrices. But these application we will understand whenever we have some problems in the particular background, means electrical, mechanical, or optimization. But the very important application of matrices is to find solutions of linear system of equations. So you already know that what is linear system of equations, or I would say a system of linear equations. So we have linear equations, means we have more than one linear equations in n number of variables. So to solve that system, means to find out the variables values, we can use the matrices. So it is very important application, as the process is very easy to find a solution of very large system. You know the methods like elimination method, substitution method, but they works better when the system has less number of variables. But when the system has many variables, or we can say, means like 10 variables, 20 variables, so in that case, when the system is large, so we can solve that system very easily using the matrices. So this application we will study in this topic also, means in this unit we will study the application of matrices to find out the solutions of linear system. So we will see that how the matrices can be used to find the system of linear equations. So now what is matrix or matrices? Matrices is plural word of matrix. The matrix is an arrangement of objects. So means suppose we have data points or we have some objects, we have to arrange those objects in a particular form which is called matrix. So it is an arrangement of objects in m rows and n columns in the following form. So this represents one matrix. So what we have some objects. So how many objects are there? It depends that we have suppose m into n objects. So we have to arrange these objects in row and columns. So how we arrange that? We either we move from column to column or row to row. So that depends up to you. So the matrix is simply an arrangement of objects. We have some objects, we have to arrange this in this form. So this form is called matrix. Now, what are the properties? Means what are the elementary definitions? Means what are these elements? How to represent this matrix? So if somebody asks you what is matrix, so you can say that matrix is an arrangement of mn objects, not necessarily distinct, means that these elements may mean some of the elements, some of the objects may be same or they may be different. So this is an arrangement of objects in m rows and n columns. So these are called rows and these are called columns. This vertical arrangement, the vertical lines. So these are rows and these are columns. So we have to arrange mn objects in rows and columns. So this is that arrangement. Now these entries in the matrix, these are called elements of the matrix, means A11, A12, A1n, A21, 22, 2n up to AM1, M2, Mn. So these are all called elements of the matrix. Now these elements may be a real number or complex number. So if all these elements are real number, then we call this as a real matrix. And if at least one of these elements is complex, then we say this matrix is complex. So matrix is either real or complex. It depends that elements, what is the means how elements are, are these elements a real number, or is any number which is complex. So if all the elements of the matrix are real number, then we say this is a real matrix. And if at least one of these elements is complex number, then we say this is complex matrix. Now these are arrangements of mn elements. So we say one important term, that is order of the matrix. So order of the matrix is how many rows are there and how many columns are there. So first we write the number of rows. So number of rows means how many rows are there. So this is first row, this is second row, this is third row, this is fourth row. So we have m number of rows. So this is m. And how many columns are there? So columns, for columns we have, this is first column, this is second column, and this is nth column. So we have columns, n columns. So we have m rows and n columns. So this order would be, the order of this matrix would be m by n. We we read this like m by n. So how many, the first component in the order that denotes the number of rows in the matrix, and the second component, that is n here in this case, it denotes the number of columns in the matrix. So if we have, suppose 3 rows 4 columns, then the order would be 3 by 4. First component represents the number of rows and second component represents the number of columns. So the now you know what is matrix. Matrix is an arrangement of mn objects, where now what is the order of matrix? Order of the matrix is the number of rows by number of columns, and the entries in the matrix are called elements of the matrix. If all the elements, these elements, so if all these elements are real, then we say this is a real matrix. And if any one of these elements is complex number, then we say this is complex matrix. Now the positions, how to fix the positions of the elements. So this is A11. So this suffix 11 represents that this element belongs to first row of the matrix, and second component represent that it belongs to first column of the matrix. Similarly, suppose we have this 2 1 element. So A21, that means the first component is with respect to row and second component is with respect to column. So this A21 element that belongs to second row and first column. This AM2, that means it belongs to mth row and second column. This A2n, that this element belongs to second row and nth column. Clear? And this one A1n, that means the first row and nth column, the first row and second column. So like this we have representation of the elements. So now we don't know because what are the objects, so we are writing this in representation form. So A11, A12, A11 means these all elements are from first row, the first column, second column, and its column. Similarly, this is second row. So A21, A22, A23, A24 up to A2n. So these are the elements from second row. Similarly, this is the mth row. So these elements belong to mth row. Clearly these, suppose we take this column. So 1 2 2 2 32, 42 and M2. So these all elements belong to second column. So this is the arrangement of objects in m number of rows and n number of columns. Now, so this is Aij is general element. We can represent all the elements using this notation Aij, where I that represents the row and j represents the column. So Aij is the element of this matrix in ith row and jth column. So suppose we have elements like A43. So A43, that means first suffix is 4. That means this element belongs to fourth row, and second component is 3. That means this element belongs to third column. So fourth row, third column, that position. So Ij represent the position of the of this element of the matrix. So this is generalized representation. Means every element of the matrix can be represented by this notation. So A is the entry. What is the value of the element at the position ith row, jth column. So which is common to ith row and jth column. So this is journal element. We can represent all the elements using this notation. Ith notation, sorry, ith row and jth column. Now the real matrix, you already know how if all the elements are real, then this is a real matrix. If at least one of the elements is complex, then it is a complex matrix. Now because this matrix is a representation, or we can say that this is an arrangement of mn objects. So this one example, that suppose we have 4 students and 3 subjects. That means for each student we have 3 subjects. Means suppose it is like that in your group. Suppose you are 4 friends in same class, and suppose for each friend studied 3 subjects. Suppose maths, physics and chemistry. So student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. So student 1 he got 93 in maths, 77 in physics, 69 in chemistry. Same is student 2 in maths, 72, in physics 91, in chemistry 57. So we have 4 students and 3 subjects. So this is one representation, how to use the matrix to represent the data. So if you collect this data and simply write the data, that first student got these marks, second student got these marks. So this does not convey anything. But if you represent that data in this form, in this matrix form, so it conveys necessarily information in the data. So now by simply observing this matrix, we have the idea that which student got highest marks in maths, which student got highest marks in chemistry, who's poor student, who is better student. So this is one example. So how to use matrix. So here we have the rows. Means simply we can interchange the row and column. Suppose we want to position the subjects in the rows, and we want we want to position the students in columns. So in that case, maths would be here, physics would be here, and chemistry would be here. And these are the column 1 would represent the student 1 marks. Same, the column 2 would represent the marks of second student. Column 3 would represent the marks of third student, and column 4 would represent the marks of fourth student. So it is up to you, in what you want to position in rows and what you want to position in columns. So simply we have to observe this the order of the matrix. So this is 4 by 3 matrix. Why? Because we have 4 rows and 3 columns. So this is 4 by 3. The first component that represents number of rows, and second component represents number of columns. So this is one example. Now this is generalized matrix notation. So all the matrices they represent by the capital letters of alphabets, capital A, capital B, capital C. So this is the notation only. So this is generalized notation of matrix. This capital A that represents a whole matrix, and this is the format, means the bracket, and inside the bracket we have elements. So each element, like I already told you that each element can be represented by this Aij. So this is generalized element. So the first suffix is with respect to row, and second suffix is with respect to column. So we have m rows and n columns. So this is generalized notation of a matrix. Now you know, now you means you have studied about that what is matrix, what is the order of matrix, what are the elements, what is real matrix, what is complex matrix. Now the types of matrices. So next we have properties, means if the, means suppose order follows some rule, the entries follow some rules, the elements follow some rule. So based on that properties, we have classified the matrices. So now the first matrix is row matrix. Which matrix is called row matrix? So now you know that any matrix is that it has a number of rows and number of columns. So suppose what is row matrix? A matrix of order 1 by n. That means we have one row only. Means in matrix we have single row only. We may have the n number of columns, means we may have two columns, three columns, four columns, six columns, but the number of row is fixed, that is one. So any matrix which is of order 1 by n, means it has one row and n columns, is called row vector or row matrix. So like this, means in this case, suppose we have this row only 93, 77 and 69, this data only, we have only one student. So that matrix is a row matrix because we have single row in that matrix. So this is one example. This is a row matrix of order 4. This order is the number of columns, because the number of row is fixed. It has only one row, but the columns may be 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, any number. So it is written like row matrix of order 4. So by saying that it is a row matrix, so we say that it has single row, and the order 4, that means it has 4 columns. Similarly, column matrix, where we have single column, we may have any number of rows, but we have single column. A matrix of order m by 1. So it has m rows, 1 and 1 column. So it is column vector or column matrix. So like this 301. It is a column matrix of order 3. Order 3 means how many rows are there. Now the rectangular matrix. So a matrix of order m by n. So it is a general matrix. The matrix means any matrix has order m by n. M represents the number of rows, n represents the number of columns. So when we have m is not equal to n, that means we have different number of rows and columns. It is called rectangular matrix. Clear? A matrix of order m by n is general matrix, but when we have this case, m is not equal to n, that means the number of rows is not equal to number of columns, then that matrix is called rectangular matrix. So like this 160314, it has 2 rows and 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. So it is a rectangular matrix of order 2 by 3, 2 rows and 3 columns. Now square matrix, a matrix of order m by n. Now we have m is equal to n. So any matrix which is of order m by n is either rectangular or square. When number of rows is equal to number of columns, it is a square matrix, and when number of rows is not equal to number of rows, it is rectangular matrix. So we have this case now, m is equal to n, that means the number of columns and number of rows, they are equal in the matrix, then it is a square matrix. So number of rows is equal to number of columns. It is called square matrix of order n. So why order n? Because the m is equal to n. So either you say it is a matrix of order m, or matrix of order n, because both numbers are equal. So in square matrix, we don't write m by n because both numbers are equal. So we say that it is a matrix of order 4, order 3, order 5. That means 5 by 5, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. So square matrix of order n. Now in square matrix, the elements aii, that means you know the generalized notation, aij is the element of the matrix in ith row and jth column. Now I am saying aii, that means the same the number of rows means, suppose if I is 1, so it is 1 1. Suppose I is 4, so it is a 4 4. So the where the number of row is equal to number of column, that position, the elements in that position are called diagonal elements of the matrix. So the elements like a11, a122, sorry, the elements a11, a22, ann are called diagonal elements. Clear? So suppose this is not a square matrix, so we cannot means apply that definition, because for diagonal elements we must have square matrix. This is a rectangular matrix, not a square matrix. So these elements a11, a12, ann. So again, this in this case also, because m is we don't know what is m is equal to n or m is different from n. So if m is equal to n, so these elements are called diagonal elements. So for diagonal elements, to find out the diagonal elements, the matrix must be a square matrix. So for a square matrix, suppose this is one example. For a square matrix, the order must be n by n or m by m, means number of rows must be equal to number of columns. So it is 3 by 3 matrix. So it is a11, a22, a33. So these elements are called diagonal elements of the matrix. And the line means this line. So this line where the diagonal elements belong, this line is called the main diagonal or principal diagonal of the matrix. So now we have another term, principal diagonal or main diagonal. So what is the definition? The a11, a22, ann are called diagonal elements, and the line on which these elements lie is called principal diagonal or main diagonal. So 5, 1, 2 are diagonal elements, and this line is called main diagonal or principal diagonal. Now the in square matrix, all the other elements means which are not on the principal diagonal, means like 3, 0, 1 and 2, 1, 0, they are called off diagonal elements. Clear? So for square matrix, either the element is diagonal element or off diagonal element. So these are diagonal elements, and all the other elements are off diagonal elements. So we have next term, off diagonal elements. So 5, 1, 2 are diagonal elements, 2, 1, 0, 3, 0, 1, they are off diagonal elements. Now we have another term, that is trace of the matrix. So again, for trace matrix, the matrix must be square matrix. So trace of the matrix is equal to the sum of the diagonal elements. So the sum of the diagonal elements of a square matrix is called trace of the matrix. So in this matrix, is suppose if somebody asks you that what are the diagonal elements, 5, 1, 2. What are the off diagonal elements, 2, 1, 0, 3, 0, 1. What is the trace of this matrix, 5 plus 1 plus 2. So it is 8, the sum of diagonal elements. Now null matrix, a square for null matrix, it's must it is not necessary that it should be a square matrix. It may be a square matrix or rectangular matrix. But what is the condition for a null matrix? All the entries must be 0. Whatever the order is, all the elements must be 0. So a matrix of order m by n order, in which all the elements are 0, is called null or zero matrix. And the null matrix is denoted by capital O or capital 0. So this is a null matrix, this is another null matrix. This is a null matrix of order 1 2 3 3 by 2, and this is a null matrix 2 by 2. Clear? So next, the diagonal matrix. So we have studied about the square matrix. Now the diagonal elements. So a square matrix, that means it must be a square matrix, means number of rows is equal to number of columns, in which all the off diagonal elements, that is aij, where I is not equal to j. In square matrix aii, these elements are diagonal elements because the notation I j are equal. But for this is a12, this is a13, this is a32. So for off diagonal elements the suffix are different. So these are off diagonal element where I is not equal to j. So a square matrix in which all the off diagonal elements are 0 is called a diagonal matrix. Clear? So we are what we are saying, that a square matrix in which off diagonal elements are 0. The diagonal elements may be anything, maybe any number. So like this is one example of diagonal matrix of order 4. So again it must be a square matrix. So it is a 4 by 4 matrix where off diagonal elements are 0, means this is the principal diagonal a11 8. So I have written this wrongly actually. A12, this should be 223344. So these elements may be any number, any real number, any complex number, but these elements which are off diagonal elements, they are all 0, like this. So these elements, if any in any square matrix these elements, these off diagonal elements are 0, then it is a diagonal matrix, means the elements other than diagonal are 0. The diagonal elements may be any real number or complex number. So diagonal matrix is denoted by capital D, and or suppose we write this as diagonal. For diagonal we write diag, diag, and these are diagonal elements a11 a22 ann, these elements. So if somebody is writing the diagonal a1, suppose 1 2 3, so this is a 3 by 3 square matrix where the diagonal elements are 1 2 3 and all other elements are 0. So next, if all the elements of a diagonal matrix of order n are equal, means now we are saying that these elements are equal. A11 is equal to A22 is equal to A33 is equal to A44. So if this is the case, that in diagonal elements, in diagonal matrix, all the diagonal elements are same, then we say this is a scalar matrix. We call this matrix as scalar matrix. So this is one example. This is 3 by 3 square matrix. It is a diagonal matrix. Why? Because all the off diagonal elements are 0 and all the diagonal elements now they are equal. So we say this is scalar matrix of order 3, means it is a 3 by 3 matrix. So diagonal the scalar matrix is a particular case of diagonal matrix where all the diagonal elements are same. And now one more thing, unit matrix or identity matrix. So it is a scalar matrix where all the diagonal elements are 1. So for a scalar matrix, all the diagonal elements must be equal. Now we are saying that these alphas are 1 only. So all the alpha elements are 1. So we say this is identity matrix or unit matrix. So if all the elements of a diagonal matrix of order n are 1, then we say it is an unit matrix or identity matrix of order n. So identity matrix is denoted by capital I. So capital, it is an identity matrix of order 4. All the diagonal elements are 1, other of diagonal elements are 0. So in diagonal matrix, all the diagonal elements are 0. No. Okay. In diagonal matrix, I'm saying that what is diagonal matrix, where all of diagonal elements are 0. but we are not saying anything about the diagonal elements. Clear? What is diagonal matrix? The diagonal matrix where off diagonal elements are zero. The diagonal elements may be any real number or complex number. So we are saying that in diagonal matrix, all off diagonal elements are zero, but diagonal elements may be zero or non-zero. These diagonal elements may be any number, any real number or complex number. So a square null matrix, if somebody asks you that square null matrix is diagonal matrix, so what would be your answer? First you check whether it is diagonal element matrix. Of course it is diagonal matrix. Why? Because non means off diagonal elements are zero. Square null matrix, that means a square matrix where all the entries are zero. Null matrix is what? Where all the elements are zero. So now we are saying checking whether it is diagonal matrix. Yes, it is diagonal matrix, because in diagonal matrix what is the condition? That all off diagonal elements are zero. So in null matrix also we have all off diagonal elements as zero. So it is null matrix. Square null matrix is also a diagonal matrix. Now some special type of matrices. These are I would say this is one operation of a matrix, transpose of a matrix. So transpose of a matrix, how to find out the transpose of a matrix? Suppose this is your matrix, so simply you have to interchange the rows and columns. Means the elements in the first row would be elements in the first column, the elements in the second row would be elements in the second column, and the elements in the third row would be elements in the third column. So like this, by interchanging the corresponding rows and columns, we find out the transpose. So transpose is represented by a t or a dash. So it is transpose. So if it is a 3 by 4 matrix, then transpose of this matrix would be 4 by 3 matrix. Simply you have to interchange rows as columns. So 2 3 5 6 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 0 5 1 2 1 5 1 2 1. So this is transpose of that matrix. Now transpose of a row matrix is a column matrix. Clear? If suppose it is a row matrix, means it has single row, so the transpose of this matrix would be a column matrix. So these are some properties you can verify by taking any of the matrix. The transpose of transpose is the matrix itself. So like here also, this is a transpose. If again suppose you transpose this matrix, what you will get? You will get A, because this is one matrix where you have to get the transpose. So first row would be the first column. So 2 1 5 would be first column, 3 2 1 first second column, 5 3 2 third column, 6 0 1 fourth column. So if we transpose the transpose of any matrix, it will give you the original matrix. So these are some more properties. If you add two matrices of the same order, because the addition is only possible when the matrices are of same order. So if you transpose that sum of the matrices, so it would be equal to A transpose plus B transpose. So you can verify these properties by taking the examples. The product of the transpose of product of two matrices. So this is when we have two matrices and we have n matrices. So this is the product of P matrices. If you get the transpose, you will get in the reverse order: AP transpose, AP minus 1, AP minus 2, A1 minus A1 transpose. Now the symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. So a real square matrix, that means a matrix is a square, number of rows is equal to number of columns, and it is real, that means all the entries are real numbers. So this is generalized form: A is equal to Aij, is said to be symmetric when A means, this is the property, I think, means if you write the definition, you see this. If A is equal to its transpose, means suppose this is A matrix, and if you take the transpose of this matrix, and this transpose is suppose is equal to A matrix, then we say it is symmetric matrix. So what we are saying that Aij is equal to Aji. Clear? That means Aij means suppose A12. Suppose here, so this is A21 element. So A21 is equal to A12. A31 is equal to A313. A23 is equal to A32. Simply A11 is equal to A11, A22 is equal to A22, and A33 is equal to A33. So these type of matrices where the Aij element is equal to Aji. For all I and j, it is a symmetric matrix. So you can check this is symmetric matrix by this operation. This is A matrix. You take the transpose of this matrix. You take the transpose. How to find out the transpose? Simply write these rows and columns as columns. So 1 3 4 1 3 4, 3 9 minus 5 3 9 minus 5, 4 minus 5 8, 4 minus 5 8. So it would be equal to itself. So this is symmetric matrix. Means if you find out the transpose of this matrix, you will get the same matrix. Clear? So here you can observe that this 3 is equal to this 3, 4 is equal to 4, minus 5 is equal to minus 5. So these type of matrices, they are symmetric matrices. Now the skew symmetric matrices, the skew symmetric matrices we have means suppose we have one matrix. If you take the transpose of that matrix, and if you compare the A matrix and to with its transpose, then you will find A is equal to minus of 80. Means the each element in A is equal to negative of the transpose negative of the elements of the transpose matrix. So suppose we have this element, this matrix, this is skew symmetric. Why? If you take the transpose of this matrix, what you will find out? Means how to find out the transpose? Simply shifting rows to columns. So 0 minus 2 5, so it would be 0 minus 2 5, 2 0 3, so 2 0 3, minus 5 minus 3 0, it is third column. So if you compare now these two matrices, we have this difference of minus sign, because minus 2 would shift here, 5 would shift here, this 2 would shift here, and this minus 3 would shift here. So we have the change of sign. So how to write this definition? Skew symmetric if Aij is equal to minus Aji. So this is 2 1 element, A21, it is equal to minus of A12. Clear? And similarly this is A32 element, so it is equal to minus of 2 3 element. This is minus 5 element, and this is the position is A31. So A31 is equal to minus of 1 3. So this, if this rule satisfies for all ij, we say this matrix is skew symmetric. So how to check, verify any matrix? You simply transpose that matrix and compare the A matrix with its transpose. If each element in A is equal to negative, the negative of corresponding element in transpose, then we say it is skew symmetric matrix. So if transpose matrix is equal to A, it is symmetric matrix. If transpose negative of transpose matrix is equal to A, then it is skew symmetric matrix. So minus 80, what does it mean? That minus 80, that means we have to multiply minus sign to each element of this matrix, that is minus of 80. Now in a skew, see, these are some properties. You can verify these properties by taking examples. It is a skew, in a skew symmetric matrix, all its diagonal elements are 0. Means whenever we have to check the skew symmetric matrix, first we should see that all the diagonal elements must be 0. Why? Because what this property says, that if you transpose this matrix and compare the the elements of A to the elements of transpose, the sign, it would be of opposite sign. So suppose if it is not 0, suppose it is 1. So after transposing this, again this position would be 1, because the diagonal elements they do not change in the transpose. Only what is change we get, this element take this place, this element take this place, this element take this place, this element take this place. Also these elements are interchanged, but the diagonal elements, they stay on the same position. So the diagonal elements, they do not change their positions in the transpose. So if suppose this element is 1, then again in the transpose matrix, the elements, this element would be 1. So 1 is equal to 1. So this property would not satisfy, because here for skew symmetric matrix, the A must be equal to minus of this. So this one must be equal to minus 1 of that. But this is not possible, because after transposing, if 1 is here, then in its transpose, at the same position we have 1. So 1 cannot be equal to minus 1. So for that reason, the diagonal elements in the skew symmetric matrix must be 0. So again, we have some properties, if any matrix which is both symmetric and skew symmetric, it must be a null matrix. Means there is only one matrix which is both symmetric and skew symmetric, that is null matrix. Otherwise, no. If the matrix is not null matrix, then it cannot. It is either symmetric or skew symmetric, or no, neither of these. Clear? So for any real symmetric matrix A, if you find out the sum of these two matrices A plus A transpose, it is always symmetric. And if you find out the difference A minus A transpose, it is always skew symmetric. So like this means we have some properties you can verify by taking the examples. Now the triangular matrices, any metric is called triangular matrix if it is either lower triangular or upper triangular. Clear? It is either lower triangular or upper triangular. Now what is a lower triangular matrix or upper triangular matrix? So a square matrix Aij is called a lower triangular matrix if Aij is 0 whenever I is less than j. Means this is generalized element of the matrix. So for all those elements where first suffix is less than second suffix, these elements are 0, then we say it is lower triangular matrix. Or we say that all the elements above the principal diagonal are 0. Like here, means this is the this is the principal diagonal. So this is principal diagonal. So if we compare the elements above this diagonal, principal diagonal, or below this principal diagonal, if the elements above the principal diagonal, they are 0, we say it is lower triangular. Here also, this is the these are the diagonal elements, and means this is the principal diagonal, and you observe that all the elements above this principal diagonal are 0. So we will say this is lower triangular matrix. Clear? And for these matrices, this is the principal diagonal. You observe that all the elements in the lower means below the principal diagonal are 0. So we say this is upper triangular matrix. Clear? For lower triangular, the elements above the principal diagonal are 0. Above the principal diagonal are 0. And for upper triangular matrix, the elements below the main diagonal is the elements are 0. So we have these definitions. So any matrix which is either lower triangular or upper triangular, these are triangular matrices. And this is null matrix. It is both lower triangular and upper triangular. Why? Because this is the principal diagonal. So if you observe all the elements above the principal diagonal, they are 0. So it is lower triangular. And also the elements below the main diagonal, they are 0. So it is also upper triangular matrix. So null matrix is both null matrix, square null matrix is both lower triangular and upper triangular. Now conjugate matrix. Conjugate matrix, this conjugate operation is with respect to complex numbers. So suppose if A is equal to Aij be a complex matrix. So now what is complex matrix? Complex matrix is that matrix where at least one of the entry, one of the element is complex. So this Aij represent the generalized element, means it represents each element of the matrix. Now if Aij bar, if you remember that what is conjugate, what is how to find out the conjugate of any complex number, we simply write the bar of that number. Means suppose if z is complex number, we say z bar is its conjugate. So so this is complex matrix. So Aij is element of the matrix, and Aij bar is the conjugate, the complex conjugate of the Aij. That means how to find out the conjugate? Simply replace I with minus I. So I hope you know this definition, conjugate. So conjugate of any complex number is equal to, simply you have to replace I by minus I. So then the matrix A bar, where, so what is A bar? Suppose this is complex matrix Aij, A is complex matrix. So A bar is equal to Aij bar. That means you have to conjugate, you have to write the complex conjugate of each entry in this matrix. So this matrix is called conjugate matrix of A. Means simply write all conjugate for all the entries in the matrix. You will find out the conjugate matrix. So if this is your A matrix, how to find out the conjugate of this matrix? Simply replace I by minus I. So this is 2i minus 2i. This is minus 4i, so plus 4i. This is 3 because this is real entry, so this is 3, and this is my 1 minus 2i, so 1 plus 2i. So this is the conjugate matrix of A matrix. Now this is conjugate transpose of conjugate matrix. That means this is A matrix, this is conjugate matrix of A, and now transpose of conjugate matrix means how to find out transpose? Simply shifting row into columns. So this row as first column and this row as second column. So this is transpose of conjugate matrix. So this is called conjugate transpose or transpose conjugate or tranjugate of matrix A. Clear? So if somebody give you that this is your A matrix, find out the tranjugate or conjugate transpose or transpose conjugate. What would be your answer? First you find out the conjugate matrix, then transpose that, or first you find out the transpose, then you do the conjugate operation. Clear? So this is A bar T or A T bar, both are equal matrices, tranjugate matrix. And this sometimes the matrix A bar T means tranjugate is denoted by A star. Some authors, they write this A star for tranjugate matrix. So either you write this or A star. So A star represents the tranjugate of that matrix. Now Hermitian and skew Hermitian matrix. So a complex matrix is called an Hermitian matrix if A bar is equal to A transpose. Clear? Or A is equal to A bar transpose. Means suppose we have complex matrix, you find out the tranjugate of this matrix. Tranjugate means transpose conjugate or conjugate transpose. So you transpose this matrix and find out the conjugate. If that matrix is equal to A itself, then we say it is Hermitian matrix. Or we say, so in this form we can write that any complex matrix is Hermitian when A star is equal to A. Because what is A star? A star is A bar T. So A bar T is equal to A, that means A is equal to A star. So if tranjugate of matrix is equal to matrix itself, then we say it is Hermitian matrix. And what is skew Hermitian matrix? If A is equal to minus of A bar T, that means A is equal to minus of A star. That means first you find out the tranjugate, and if you compare A with its tranjugate, then you will find that all the entries in A, they are equal to minus sign of entries in the tranjugate, the corresponding element in the tranjugate. So these are two examples. This is Hermitian matrix. So how to find out, check whether it is Hermitian? You first means you find out conjugate of this matrix. That means conjugate transpose. So you transpose this matrix, then find out conjugate. So you will verify that, you can verify that A is equal to A star. And in this matrix, skew Hermitian matrix, if you compare, means how to verify this is skew Hermitian, you find out transpose of this matrix, then find out conjugate, and you will see that the the each element in A is equal to the minus sign in the conjugate. So I would be equal to minus I, 3 plus I would be equal to minus 3 minus I, 4 plus 5i is equal to minus 4 minus 5i. So in this way you have to do this. So Hermitian when A star is equal to A, and skew Hermitian when A is equal to minus of A star. So these are Hermitian and skew Hermitian matrices. So if A is real matrix, then Hermitian is same as the symmetric matrix, and skew Hermitian is same as skew symmetric matrix. Because if the complex means for any real number, suppose we have elements like 5, what is the conjugate of this 5? Because conjugate change the I, the imaginary part, not the real part. So conjugate, suppose this is your complex number, this is complex number. Why? Because this is 5 plus 0i, we can write this number as 5 plus 0i. So this is also, every real number is a complex number. So 5 is also a complex number. Now you find out the conjugate of this. So what you will change, you will change I by minus I. So because it is 5 plus 0i, so it is minus, sorry, 5 minus 0i. So because 0 coefficient is there, so it can be written as 5. So conjugate of real number is equal to itself. So there is no change. So that is written here, that if A is real matrix, then Hermitian is equal to symmetric matrix, and skew Hermitian is equal to skew symmetric matrix. And now these properties in Hermitian matrix, all the diagonal elements are real, because you are transposing only. If so if and you are verifying that each element in this is equal to elements in the transpose. So because they do in transpose, the diagonal elements do not change, they are at the same position. So 1 is equal to 1, 2 is equal to 2, 0 is equal to 2. Suppose this is complex number. So because you are because in Hermitian what you are doing, you are transposing and finding the conjugate. So if this is suppose complex number, so after transpose this the position is same, but when we find out conjugate, it will be, suppose this is 1 plus I, so it would change like 1 minus I. So here we have 1 plus I, and in transpose conjugate we have 1 minus I. So 1 plus I is not equal to 1 minus I. So this would not be Hermitian matrix. So all the real diagonal elements are real in the Hermitian matrix. Similarly, for skew symmetric matrix, the diagonal elements are either 0 or pure imaginary. Now the nilpotent matrix. So for nilpotent matrix, you need to know what is A to the power k. Suppose A is any matrix, so A to the power k is the means finding out the multiplication of A matrices k times. So it's like A square, A into A, A cube, A into A into A. So three times we have to multiply A matrix. So like this, we have A to the power k. So multiplying A matrices k times. So then if we have to check whether any power of A is giving a null matrix, means A is, suppose A is any square matrix. Suppose if you are finding out A square, A cube, A4, and with for any power n or any power k, if you are finding that A to the power k is coming out as null matrix, then we say it is a nilpotent matrix, and this k is called the index of nilpotency of the matrix. If you take this example, A is equal to 0 0 1 0, it is a nilpotent matrix. Why? Because if you find out A square of this, so A into A 0 0 1 0 into 0 0 1 0, you will find out a null matrix. So A square is 0. So we will say this is a nilpotent matrix. So, and what is the index? Index is the minimum power of this A whenever we are getting null matrix. Because if you observe that this is A square, if suppose find out A cube of this, means multiply A 3 times. So because A square is null matrix, so if we multiply A any number of time to this matrix, means A cube is what? A square into A. So null matrix into any matrix is null matrix. Similarly, A to the power 4, that is A cube into A. So again A cube is null. So A to the power 4 is also a null matrix. So A square is null, A cube is null, A4 is null, but in so it is a nilpotent matrix. But what is the index? Index is the least smallest value k. So because the A square is giving you the first time you are finding out null matrix when you are making the power 2. So this is your index. In this case, if you find out A cube, so A cube is also null matrix, A to the power 4 is also null matrix, but A square is giving you the null matrix first time. So square is your index. So index is 2. So if you have to find out that whether the matrix is nilpotent or not, you have to simply multiply A as many times as we are getting null matrix. So suppose we have A, find out A square, whether it is null or not. It is null. If it is null, then it is nilpotent. Again, suppose A square is not null matrix, then find out A cube. So in this way, we have to continue until we are not getting the null matrix. So any matrix where we get the null matrix whenever we made the power k, so it is a nilpotent matrix. Now idempotent matrix, a matrix A is called idempotent when A square is A, means we are making the square of A and again we are getting A, like the identity matrix. So this is A, this is a 2 by 2 square matrix, and this is if you remember, this is identity matrix. If you make the square of this, means 1001 into 1001, you will get again identity matrix. So this is satisfying the property of idempotent where A square is equal to A. So this is an idempotent matrix. Now in voluntary, so in voluntary, if A square is equal to I, means suppose for matrix A, if we are making square of this and we are getting identity matrix, then we say it is involuntary matrix. So if A square is equal to A, it is idempotent, and if A square is equal to identity matrix, it is involuntary matrix. So this example is also for involuntary matrix, because this is a matrix, and if you are making square of this and you are getting identity matrix, so this is involuntary matrix also. Now orthogonal, so any a square matrix is orthogonal if uh, A transpose is equal to identity matrix. So means suppose we have one example, any real matrix, by example you can verify that this is an orthogonal matrix. So this is matrix A, and if you compare that, if you find out the transpose of this matrix and multiply with this A, means what you have to do, you have to verify this property. So what is this property? This is A matrix, you find out A transpose of this matrix, and if you multiply A to this matrix, you will find out an identity matrix. So this is an orthogonal matrix. Or one more definition, means in another way we can say where any matrix is orthogonal whenever its transpose behaves like its inverse. Because what is the property of inverse matrix? If A is any matrix, so what is the inverse of A? Inverse of A is represented by A inverse. So whenever you multiply A inverse to A, what you will find out? You find out an identity matrix. So So like here I'm saying that any matrix is orthogonal if A into A transpose is identity. So if you compare this to this property, AT is equal to I, and here we are I'm writing A inverse is equal to I. So AT is equal to A inverse. Clear? So this is right multiplication. Again, you know that either we multiply from left or right, we are getting identity for inverse. So A, if you multiply A inverse into A, so here this multiplication is also identity. So here also I'm writing that A transpose into A is identity. So A transpose behaves like its inverse of the matrix. Clear? So this is the definition of orthogonal matrix. So whatever it is saying that if A transpose is equal to A inverse, then this matrix is orthogonal. So this is one example. You can verify, either you find out inverse of this matrix and compare that transpose of this matrix is equal to A inverse, or you verify that you find out the transpose of this matrix and multiply A into A transpose or A transpose into A. You will find out the identity matrix. Now the unitary matrix, a square complex matrix is unitary if A star behaves like inverse of A. Clear? Means like here we have taken A transpose as inverse. Now I am, because this is complex matrix, so we are taking A star. A star is what? A bar T means conjugate. So if conjugate of the matrix behaves like its inverse, then we say that it is an unitary matrix. So how to verify that this is one example of unitary matrix. So how to verify this? This is A. So you find out A star. So what is A star? A star is conjugate of this matrix. So find out transpose and conjugate. And so this is the A star. Now you multiply A into A star. So this multiplication give you the identity matrix. So this is unitary matrix. So these are some properties. If A and B are orthogonal, then the matrices A into B, B into A, these are also orthogonal. If A is orthogonal, then determinant of this orthogonal matrix is either +1 or -1. Similarly, if product of two unitary matrices is also unitary. So these are some properties you can verify by these taking the examples. If A is involuntary, then also the determinant of that matrix is either +1 or -1. The idempotent matrix, the determinant of the idempotent matrix is either 0 or 1. So if it is identity matrix, because identity matrix is idempotent, so the it is means the determinant is 1. Otherwise all the idempotent matrix, they are singular, that means their determinants are 0. So you can verify these properties. So from the next lecture, we will continue elementary transformation of a matrix. So the first lecture was about the basics of matrices. What is matrix? What is the order of matrix? And the types of matrices: singular, non-singular, idempotent, unitary, orthogonal, row matrix. So these are some. So we have studied some properties of the matrices. So from the next lecture, we will study the operations of matrices.